could be the last game of the series or the beginning of the verse sweep or somewhere in between, as Cloud9 once again with side choice has chosen red, and we'll see if the bans are the exact same as over in game one. It was LeBlanc, Trist, Ori for Team Dignitas, Zach, Callista, Gragas for the red side, and no, Cassiopeia gonna join the ban table, and it'll be Jensen playing something else.
He's had his fill of the Syndra Cassiopeia matchup. Maybe they're gonna try and continue to focus down onto Keen, and they've kind of identified him as an area that they can, you know, make some gains in. It's not always, oh, we have to attack the biggest problem from the enemy team. It's where can we see the biggest difference?
Yes.
You know, even if it wasn't the biggest factor itself.
Yeah, I would expect here for C9 to trend towards a Syndra type pick for Jensen. If they could get that pick, I think it would be precisely what they want, and really try and do one of those snowballing through mid lane type games, because they've been playing the side lane game today. We've seen Impact get an advantage and it turn into nothing. And we've seen Sneaky even get to late game Twitch in game one, and that also turned into nothing. So bread and butter, what got them their wins in the regular season? Almost always playing through mid with Contracts and Jensen. And while Cassiopeia can be great in team fights, it doesn't give you that kill pressure in mid lane that you might want.
So this draft ends up being almost identical to game one, except that Dignitas took over the Zac ban, and that means Orianna's left up for the first time all series. Dignitas might still go back to that first pick Jarvan, but again, this is a squad that banned away Orianna in both their games. Afraid of Jensen playing it, we'll see if he even wants it. Cloud9 might continue to replicate more of these picks.
Sneaky got crit few too many times in those last team fights with the Twitch opening up right next to him, and now he wants to try his hand once again. See maybe if he alters his build a little bit to get that earlier Infinity Edge spike or not, but they're definitely going to go a bit earlier here with Contracts being able to grab up the Elise, and that does enable a mid lane camping playstyle if they so choose to go for it.
Yeah, Syndra locked in right away for Keen. That's the third game in a row he's going to be playing that, but it will be into a different matchup. And no matter what, Jensen has counter pick now. Cassiopeia and LeBlanc are off the table.
There you go.
Into Syndra.
You wanted some Contracts, Jensen, early game power. There you go. The Elise plus the Lucian is a tremendous amount of kill pressure, no matter where you are on the map here for Keen, even if he's by his turret. So he's definitely going to have to watch out, and we'll see what Shrimp does as far as vision control, because he has actually been quite good at securing at least one side of the mid lane for Keen to kind of try and hover to.
All right, well, the picks and bans continue on as Shen is off the table right now. Wasn't what Cena had banned last time around, but of course the champ select now very different from before. Jensen certainly on something a bit more proactive, might see him get around the map a bit more and look for those side lane plays.
And we keep asking, when will C9 deny the Maokai or control it for themselves? Because they have the opportunity to do either here. They have the first pick in the second rotation, as well as having top lane bans left to spend.
And the efficacy of the front line has been one of the biggest things here for Team Dignitas in winning their 5-on-5 fights. We keep saying that their 5-on-5 has been so good. They've been able to shot call their way up to the points where they can converge on these 5v5 team fights, but Shogun, the crowd control and the front lining has been outstanding for them. Currently, Cloud9 have no front line to speak of whatsoever. And we're definitely going to focus on that half in the second part of the draft phase.
I feel like this Cho ban leads to the Maokai first pick. I don't think you'd ban this champion for any other reason than, yeah, there's that ban out of Team Dignitas, but I think that would have been what someday would have gone for if Maokai were grabbed. I think that was the plan for C9. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. And now they get to pick a different frontliner. Shen is gone. Gnar is up, though it did not win last time around. Nautilus got some buffs, but is probably perceived as a bit weak still. What goes top lane? It is going to be Gnar.
I think that, yeah, I still think that Impact's Gnar was extremely effective, and he was winning in CS even with the early ganks. They weren't able to transition into a game victory, but Gnar was not the problem.
Yeah, it gives them 3 auto attackers here as well. So a lot of turret pressure if they can get a lead to try and snowball over with. It also means the Team Dignitas could still want to try and get something really tanky up in that top lane, but with the main bread and butter tanks being banned away, Cho'Gath, Maokai, Shen, all off the table, I have to see what they go for.
I think Kled is playable, or you run something else into the jungle and leave Jarwood in the top lane. It's not a terrible matchup, but a bit more difficult maybe. Thresh can be picked up for the support role. Of course, C9 going to save their support for last. We'll see what duos with Sneaky a bit later on to this one. Team Dignitas need that top jungle flex, and they go Nocturne!
Whoa!
Nocturne gets picked up And I'm not even sure if it's definitely in the jungle, though you assume it's going to Shrimp.
Yeah, but what?
Okay.
Nocturne?
All right,
That wasn't even on the radar.
No. He turns off your radar. That's what his ultimate does.
I want to see if he's actually going to go lethality because there are so many options. We talked about this backline here. Twitch and Lucian are definitely viable options for an assassin Nocturne to go for. Or is he just going to go the semi-tanky Black Cleaver that we're kind of fairly used to with Nocturne?
I think it's a Bruiser Nocturne with Warrior to start would be my guess. Kobe's trying to look up solo queue and stuff right now because we're wondering where this pick come from. This is such a hidden pick. No one has been playing Nocturne. We'll get our stats to check the last time we saw him in the NALCS. We saw one game of him at Worlds last year.
So here are some of the pros of picking a Nocturne and why you would want to pick Nocturne is the ultimate separating people in a team fight. One of the big problems for Cloud9 has been these team fights. Now they have this Twitch and Lucian that are fairly squishy are going to have to remain mobile. Once you turn off the lights, it becomes much more difficult to coordinate those team fights, and Team Dignitas may try and prey on that lack of coordination and exacerbate the issue here with the Nocturne Ultimate Darkness coming out.
Right, you can lower Twitch's damage output. He might not be able to land any auto attacks at all. You need to click on someone. You can't toss it out like a skill shot. And this team is also good at diving. There's a Syndra and a Jarvan to go with the Nocturne. You can get the dunks onto this Twitch. There is no way to block this damage output. There's no Braum, there's no Thresh, there's none of these heavy shieldings for either.
With the Ultimate, your range is longer than you can see on Twitch.
Yep.
During the Nocturne Ultimate.
Yeah, upon further research, I do think it should be the lethality build. Specifically because you're trying to delete Twitch before he can do anything. If you go in with Jarvan, it's actually really difficult to get enough defenses to not have that be the case if they both press their buttons on the same dude.
Yeah, and they're almost all point and click. Jarvan's ultimate point and click, the Nocturne ulti and the E point and click as well. The auto attack gonna come through, so look out sneaky. They're coming for you.
The problem with that though is there are a lot of reasons that Nocturne isn't right? He has the strength of being able to right click a Twitch, but his early jungle clear is, not nearly as threatening as Elise. His ganks pre-6 are pretty pedestrian.
Yeah.
There's not that much going for him early, and Team Dignitas is going to have to weather this Elise storm.
Again, though, what is going for him, there isn't a tremendous amount of peel here for Sneaky or Jensen. Coming in with the Spell Shield provides you with that opening to at least get off a giant amount of burst damage and take down the backline. So yes, oftentimes on Nocturne, towards the end game, you turn into kind of a suicide bomber and you go in there, try and trade your 1-for-1 with one of those end game carries. But I'm super excited to see if he does go for that, because to me, if you're going to go the bruiser route, it's kind of a cop-out, and there are better bruisers to take.
Sure.
Unless you're only taking him for the ultimate, for the darkness, for the team fights, there are definitely better bruisers to take, and would be advisable to get some lethality.
Yeah. Go for the Duskblade one-shot out of ultimate.
Yeah.
That's the strat, we think. But we did not think we were seeing Nocturne.
No,
so
did not do my Nocturne
we'll have to wait and see what he does.
Yeah.
And
what else is interesting is we are in a metagame of duo threat teams. Right? It's a lot of 3 tanks, 2 threats. So if you trade your jungler for deleting a threat, you win the team fight because now you're 2-1 in damage dealers. Now Cloud9 is not this way. They've got a Black Cleaver user with impact and contracts like to go full AP on Elise, especially because there's no other magic damage. So trading 1-for-1, C9 has backup damage dealers. So if you do instantly delete Shrimp, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and they also just gave him a wicked good pull. Because of it though, right, they're losing some of the level 1 shove to Smoothie and Sneaky, which is very risky because you can potentially kind of let the Twitch out of his laning phase. He's going to be farming up very quickly, though.
Talk about the mechanics of Nocturne, since people haven't seen him in a long time. Definitely is, or was, one of my favorites in a past life, I guess. One of the big things is flashing early to ensure that the enemy cannot flash out of your tether for your fear there. You can see it on the Scuttle Crab. And oftentimes you can both trade flashes, plus if you wait about 0.5 seconds, you'll still be able to get that fear onto your target as well as trading the flashes. Contracts now very unhappy to find the Scuttle Crab already taken, and Invade is also going to be seen trying to take advantage of the Nocturne early jungling.
Shrimp's looking for the play. He's going to land the Fear, and he is not done. Spell Shield the Cocoon, though. He's going to block out the melee Q. Repel to buy some time. He's going to get to the Blast Cone, and Impact's going to try to buy some time to knock out Someday. That's going to happen all right. Cocoon up for 2 seconds and not going to get much.
Yep, cooldown's not available there, so both of them get out of it alive. Keen in the mid lane, again, he's always dealing with this super aggressive Jensen. Contracts returns,
Wants
though.
more.
He's gonna flash! He's gonna go for first blood! That was awesome! Contracts gets the kill, and he takes the camp away too.
Incredibly sick gank there from Contracts in the jungle, taking advantage of the ward he placed earlier. Shrimp did not account for that ward, was not tracking it, did not see him put it down. And this is going to be some counter jungling afterwards.
The early pressure of Elise doesn't even go into influencing the lanes. You want to be able to spell shield the Cocoon on Nocturne for your safety, but when he gets him out of fog like that, twice in a row, he gets a lot of damage to start and then can flash over the wall to finish. Just big plays by Contract.
Walked in for the ward, but Smoothie tried to Power Fist out of the Lantern and tried to mind game when the attack would come through. Power Fist a bit late though, gets out.
Remember, he wards over the wall at
So
first.
he never saw him put it.
And never saw that ward.
That's why he could not account for that ward. He did not know it was there. You can't really blame Shrimp for that, repeat. And man, it was just an amazing play here by Contracts. Shoots a Cocoon, flashes over with it, so he knows that
Doesn't hit the Scryer's Bloom.
0 time to react here for Shrimp.
Yep. I think the Cocoon came from his old position. It seemed to come from behind Contracts.
Yeah, you don't reposition your Cocoon by flashing. It's not like one of the flash extendable summoner spells.
Either way though, you're gonna see this top lane get pushed in. Could get into a small farm lead for some days. He clears out the wave, but Impact looks like he's gonna recall off of this one. Shrimp gonna go in. Of course, he still has flash. Can they find this one? But Jensen hugging the top side of the lane. Gonna get stunned up though. Is there gonna be a play? No, they're not gonna bring a Nocturne.
Shrimp's early gank is so underwhelming. He would need Jensen to almost dash flash in to have any type of effectiveness on Nocturne. I think he was basically just waiting because he just cleared his 2 camps and was there for counter.
Yeah, definitely setting up for the counter gank there. Expecting some aggressive Elise play since they know that Keen wants to back to get that early tome for himself. Lost Chapter is such a big early item for the mid laners, and Syndra just need to clear that one last wave. So protecting there. And again, we talked about Shrimp doing these little things for Keen for his laning phase. Vision and kind of protecting him for recall positions. Here we go, though. Contract on the offensive again.
3v3, we see this a lot. And it's gone both ways. Shrimp gonna stay behind the wall, wait and fog. 1 level deficit underneath Contracts. And here comes the play. Cocoon's gonna land hook as well. Can they pick off all tech? The Dignitas, somebody's gonna get away. Exhausted is sneaky, no re-engage to be had. And no kills, but 4 summoners down for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot of lane pressure for C9 now that they have a 2 summoner spell advantage on Twitch and a big wave pushing against them, so they can deny a lot while that recall happens, not to mention the control ward they have in the Tribe Rush there to keep Team Dignitas scared.
Contracts bought these mobility boots for a reason, getting that lead on Elise, and he tries to make use of his control ward once again, but Adrian spots him out. They're not going to be able to get anything out of it.
Shrimp playing with the requisite safety to not be picked off until he can see where people have gone. I believe Scuttle may have seen Contracts go back into his jungle. Either way, he's fine.
Cloud9 very happy to recall here and just let the minions kill off their own. Meanwhile, mid lane again, communicated to Keen. He's playing very defensively here as he should. And the invade there from Contracts is seen by the control wards behind the back of that red buff. So Dignitas is able to stay safe.
Impact repeatedly pushing Someday to the limit as best he can, but the farm not really showing there's an advantage here. It's actually +1 to Someday, so winning the lane technically.
Top lane Jarvan, very good at farming.
Yeah.
Even if you're harassed down, you can almost always get those last hits with your Q or your E. At this point, I think Team Dignitas just wants to stall until Shrimp is level 6, and they're so worried about this Boots mobility Contracts.
Not going to go for the Scuttle just yet. Looking for maybe he wants the Jarvan on the way back. A ward comes down and it will spot Contract. He doesn't know he's been seen by this. He's going to look for this. And of course, he's in a butt of a 1v2. Here comes Jarvan. Nice repel, gets away onto the Scryer's Bloom, but now he doesn't have flash to get away from Cataclysm. He spites for some health, but here comes Keen. Jensen nearby as well. Do they have the CC? Here comes the Gnar as well. Missed the stun, not gonna land! And the follow-through forces the flash out of Someday.
That was really well played by Contracts, considering how he was caught there. All the small things he did to dodge damage, to proc the Honey Fruit there as he's repels the initial knockup. So many little things there inside to be able to get out of a situation that looked pretty bad considering he was right next to a ward and unknowingly had been seen.
Yeah, I specifically like the fact that he's just kind of left that Scryer's Bloom be because it's an escape path for him, and because as much as the Scryer's Bloom reveals for you, it also reveals you, because people can do math very quickly and say, wait, 4 people are shown and someone just hit a plant. I know where that boy is. So Contract's being pretty sneaky, but even with all that, he doesn't hit level 6 first. Shrimp is hit level 6 first, and he's going Cinder Hulk.
Oh no, he's going Bruiser.
Totally different story.
Oh, he's just gonna frontline. All
right, let's retell our story. They're picking this Nocturne all for the ultimate and for turning off the lights here to separate the team fights.
So disappointing.
See what they can actually do with the darkness. I really wanted it to at least be the saving grace of, oh yeah, he's going red smite though still.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can kind of sit on their face with it, but
Nope.
There's a chance because he is behind, he's just trying to beat another frontliner. That's all I got.
Kobe and I shaking our heads. Nope, he was gonna cop out from the beginning.
I will still expect him to go the Black Cleaver though.
Okay.
All right, I'm repositioning my bets now. Black Cleaver Nocturne. The cooldown reduction is insane on Nocturne.
Yeah.
Incredibly effective, not just for the ultimate, by the way, though. You're getting multiple spell shields can actually be super good for the late game, as well as, you know, the fear. And just keeping up your Q trail increases your damage. So cooldown reduction really does translate into more damage for him.
Yeah, and once Nocturne is level 6, the counter ganking just becomes so much more potent against an Elise, especially an Elise who's gone boots mobility, because Elise can get there, start the gank. Nocturne enters from within his own jungle oftentimes. Rank 1 ult not that long, but as far as effectively where it feels like it comes from, almost impossible to ward for Nocturne.
Yeah. They looked at the option for a bot lane, didn't go for it here. Quick blue hand off to Jensen. He saw the opening, and if there was a hook or a flash play, he was there for it. Just going to take his Krugs down. And again, this 1 level lead is going to maintain for Shrimp. Actual gold, 500 apart. That's basically what you get for a solo kill first blood, so no major differences here. Jensen trading blows and not winning by as much as he was before against Keen, so this matchup staying a bit close. Once again, Shrimp waiting in the bot side of the map. There are no other camps to kill, so nothing else to do much.
They're looking for an opening here for Adrian. If he can land.
Oh, he does! Here comes the ulti. The lights are off. They're going to look for this one, but the camouflage comes across. Going to block that shot. Is Smoothie TP going to come in and cancel out of Someday?
Ooh, that means you can match with Impact if you want. There it is.
4v3 hook in. They bought some time. They're going to go for a Shrimp, but a Lantern buys them some time. If the re-engage comes across, how close to Meganar? How close to anything? Not going to find too much just yet. The flash to chase to get the kill, and here comes Jensen. All 5 in the bot lane. Looking for Shrimp. The flash, the autos, the kill comes through. 2-0 so far. Will they find for more with Sneaky jumping into this one? The re-engage on the backside, they picked off the Elite, but the trade come in all the same, and 3 kills for 1. Cloud9 win in the bot lane.
Now they're going to stick around and try and get that first turret bonus gold as well. Someday is going to have no choice but to continue to push on the top side and eventually get that one, but the bonus, again, going to go over here to Cloud9. Big opening in the early game.
Yeah, a lot of things happened in that fight. The teleport canceled by Someday before Impact had started channeling, guaranteeing they can get the numbers advantage for the dive, as well as Sneaky flashing away from the CC chain. He waited for the Nocturne ultimate to connect, then flash. So that way you could not follow through well with Shrimp. TP canceled because it wasn't going to happen for anything, and Contracts now coming in for the counter.
Yeah, the timing on that flash was so good. There wasn't even an option to try and flash early to tether off of. Sneaky immediately was able to get out of range. Then they continue the dive here. Jensen first to the roam, flashes in for his kill, but Keen gets off his ultimate already, even though Contract flashes away. Doesn't matter. The balls are in the air, and they get 1 counter kill back for themselves.
So one of the bigger leads we've seen from C9 now, 2,500 gold, only 12 minutes in, plus 2 of those kills go to Jensen as far as C9's ability to play through mid lane in order to win games.
And a big part of the reason that gold lead is so big, Someday wasn't even able to get a lot of damage on that top turret. So they didn't answer back with the objective after the play either. Kills and big objective going Cloud9's way.
So turret gold to Sneaky. He's going to feel good about this one. He's still going for the Ruin King build, even though he didn't have as bad of a laning phase as last time, it felt like. Though it's the same matchup, I think, it just wasn't quite as bad this time around, but still going to go for the slightly less hard scaling build. Shrimp going to grab his red buff without much issue, and Cloud9 going to sit on this 2,500 gold lead a bit longer, hope for the next play.
As far as me as well, when I'm facing something like Jarvan Nocturne diving, it always makes me feel a little bit better when you have Blade of the Ruined King.
Sure.
Yeah, even though you're not going to be able to crit them and get them off you as fast, you know, a little bit of speed and whatnot goes a long ways.
This is one of the games you might actually consider Ninja Tabby, but not going to be the case here. Going for the Zergri is already done, of course, is that item. Also, not too far from IE. Scuttle Crab goes to Sneaky, and they're going to stay bot lane for now.
Yeah, and I think this is where Shrimp wants to try and make use of that down flash on Sneaky. If they can go in one more time, they're going to do so. It can't be matched with teleport this time. They would hope to win a 3v3, but with their turret down, C9 actually not even needing to push through too far and playing this one smart.
There they are. There's very small windows you get to survive in. Right there, they were smart in not going for the next wave, not going to push it past the river. Just take the safe farm, grab the 13.5-minute Ocean Drake, the team around to make sure it was safe. And now you got to watch out for the fact that there's a TP disadvantage because Someday canceled. He has a full 65-second lead on his TP being up, and Impact's is not. Cloud9 needs to play around that.
Bottom lanes, beware. Also, yeah. Cloud9 bottom lane doesn't have even jungler on that side of the map, so this could be very effective.
Okay, here's the Nocturne into the front line. He's going to look for this one on a Sneaky. The Fear's going to land, and of course he can reveal the camouflage and an easy hook to land off the Fear. The hit confirmed. There was literally nothing Sneaky could have done. It was impossible if he walked into the lane at all. And he did, and the kill came through to Eltec.
Yeah, that was what they were trying to brute force, and they did get it. So ultimate use, flash use, they get the kill. But if they turn it back right here.
Exhaust on the front line, they're gonna go for this, and the damage is there. Oh, but Keen turns it back. They don't have it. He tried to give the kill away. The calling, not gonna land the bolts. He's gonna die almost to the turret. Are you kidding me? Keen should have died.
Oh, always use your ignite. Not gonna be the case. Cloud9 still will pull, push Someday off the top turret and get that one, but oh man, Keen does not have to go down. He does not have to pay for that bottom lane gank with his life, and Dignitas very happy about that one, regardless of this, large Cloud9 gold lead.
Yeah, there's still a lot of control in the game right there. It looked like Smoothie and Jensen thought that was a for sure kill, so that's why he wasn't ignited. Did not want a KS. Keen gets the stun and uses the move speed from heal to help juke out on the culling on top of it. What a miraculous escape.
All right, watch the fight in the bot lane again. Nocturne Fear.
They know that, yeah, Adrian's going to flash for that one, no problem, because the Fear, you're going to run away in a straight line, easy for him to land it, and it's pretty much a guaranteed kill as soon as they saw Sneaky in lane, because Sneaky does not have a flash, and there's no escape for Twitch.
Yeah, no way out is all, and as long as they land the hookup during the Fear duration, of course, they were fine with that one. Shrimp, pretty standard, has max the Dustbringer, his Fear is getting max second. Duration, I believe, does still scale with rank, although I haven't played Nocturne in a while. Probably still does. Yep. 2,500 gold lead still remains. Cloud9 have yet to lose a turret. They did not yet lose bot lane, though it's low. They've swapped their teams around as the Drake is gone. Their duo is going to stay topside. Impact going to shove down through the bot lane, and we'll see if Rift Herald is picked up at some point.
Yeah, still a lot of control for C9. Those 3 auto attackers that we talked about trying to chip down the turrets. And at that point, it's about staying alive from the ganks or just roaming with the Blitz and the Elise, right? They have pick comp written all over the Blitz and the Elise.
See if we can find more. Sneaky can stealth through the wards, but careful, because Adrian and the Co are around. The hook's going to land in a contract. Could survive this, though. Adrian, not long for the world. Smoothie makes sure the kill falls this time around, pops the ulti for it.
Couple of cancels there on the teleports. They'll return down. Oh, actually, Impact is roaming up towards the mid lane, so maybe Cloud9 kind of converge there as Contracts is coming in from the jungle. They know that Keen at least doesn't have his summoners from the last engage, even though they weren't able to find that kill.
Oh, this is huge. They know Shrimp is in here.
The tables have turned.
Dive.
Stun into the follow-through. Look at the burst damage there. Cinderhulk, Ninjatabby or not, he's deleted.
Payback for Contracts not checking the brush on top lane in the previous game in the series. He is now the one lying in wait. And the Spider does find a kill. It's not Keen, and Keen will now know, of course, that multiple people are on the way.
3v4. Is there a play to be had? The hook. They got to play around that rocket grab range. The Cocoon might have actually meant that as well. Almost going to land the death sentence from Adrian. Good chunk out of the boulder toss. But out they go. Cloud9 just getting away with that one kill and a bit of turret pressure.
Yeah, and they're the ones with the tools now. They have upgraded Sweeper onto Contracts. You saw his damage potential onto Nocturne, who's just going a standard tank build that you would do on any tank jungler. No fallback pattern for Team Dignitas' jungler in this one. So it's on C9 to kind of make these plays. And we didn't see the turret trades happen this game either, right? Team Dignitas couldn't switch out and start that turret trading rampage into a big team fight. They're trying to scale up on all tech, but he does not have a gold lead onto Sneaky. Definitely C9's best 18 minutes of a game this series for C9.
Yeah, it definitely is
C9's
their
best
best.
18 minutes.
And it's a complete reversal of how the junglers have gone. Every single Shrimp scoreline has been something very small and like 75 assists every single game, and it's been contracts with 7 times the death as kills this time around. It's Shrimp having a very rough start and not turning it around. Top lane pressure with 3 right now.
A lot are roaming up to this.
Yeah, we got to get out.
500 damage in a Jensen. Cocoon is going to get through it. Thank you, contracts.
They do have the Rift Herald, but Rift Herald would ideally be used in mid lane here for Cloud9 to try and take down the last outer turret and allow them to actually more effectively fight the Vision Wars. As the Dragon is coming up in 37 seconds, they might look to coordinate those two. So maybe just have Jensen push the top lane, transition back down to the mid here to see if they can do it. Maybe they don't even need that Rift Herald.
Yeah, turret's getting a bit low. Again, percent health damage doesn't work against turret, so a slow push right now for Sneaky. Bot lane getting pushed in by minions. And this will not fall just yet. But next time someone gives it a erstwhile glance, it'll fall.
Yeah, for Cloud9, they would like to deny that gold until after the next Drake fight, or after the fight around mid lane. But I've actually become a fan of letting minions, if no enemy team member is close, like kill off an outer turret to deny the local gold, because it's such a significant part of the gold now.
Tend to agree. I'm really keeping my eyes on Smoothie and contracts in this moment, though, with Drake being up, Baron being up in 15 seconds. It's a very dangerous game for Team Dignitas to check around Baron Pit.
Those turrets dead.
So you want to do the Drake while you have the Rift Herald
Don't
going
do it right now.
to split them. They don't need to be around to watch
Sneaky
her
wants
kill
local
the
gold.
turret.
150 local gold for being there, so maybe 250.
Now they
actually.
can transition,
250,
but they
yeah.
didn't start it up.
100 everyone, 250 to him. So that, I mean, Sneaky gets a kill worth of gold by sitting around and making sure he gets that, and now it's pressure enough to go the rest of the way around.
Yeah, you don't have to be very close to it, and you only need one person to kind of buy it. Cloud9 in the end get both objectives anyway, even without having them start them up simultaneously. They will be very happy about furthering their lead. Meanwhile, Team Dignitas back out to the top side.
Shrimp steals 30 gold away from Adrian. Just give him the last hit. They push down the rest of this, and Dignitas starting to set up Baron vision. And regardless of how the early games have looked, Dignitas have outplayed the Baron every single time and gotten their leads this way.
And this is going to be the hardest game for them yet because of that gold
Jensen in
deficit.
D.
When we saw the drafts for these teams, we saw C9 go very early on the Elise and put Jensen on Lucian to try and take over that mid lane. What we saw from Team Dignitas was the Jarvan Nocturne, which we know isn't going to have the same early game presence. And then for Dignitas to succeed, they would have to weather the early game storm from C9. The storm ended up happening bot lane with a lot of TPs, contracts going in, also contracts getting a solo kill onto Shrimp earlier on in the game. So in this way, C9 has been playing towards that early game snowball chance they have with the Nocturne and not letting the Nocturne Jarvan get online to dive the double marksman that C9 have put together.
It has not happened right now. C9 feeling very good about this game. 4,000 gold lead maintains, and they're going to go back to play for Baron control. This time, C9 holds the vision. There are no Dignitas wards in that river. Sneaky just really dodged the stun. That could have been a threat, though. Talk about Keen. If he has a good game, Team Dignitas tends to win. This time around, it's Shrimp having a bad game, but Keen is doing all right for himself. See if he can have that next pick come through. Has some flat pen. Shrimp is going full tank. That Black Cleaver not going to happen. He's going Nice Down next up.
Yeah, meanwhile, you can see Impact's build. He's actually transitioning to Magic Resist, preparing for team fights. As he knows, that is where these games have been decided in this series. So he's already preparing, for possible Syndra damage, even though that's the only source he has to worry about.
Yep. Looks to be nothing on a Smoothie. Has the Relic Shield quest completed already. Their actual gold income between Smoothie and Adrian not too far apart, just barely over 100. So last hitting well is Smoothie.
Sweeper wars right now. Everyone trying to get vision around Baron.
On to one. Here comes the engage in the back line, though. Is this fight going to go well? Here comes the dive, nearsighted, and the Twitch forced to run away. He's still feared, and the chase is in. They're going to get that kill. The Bash Brothers, the two-man kill, comes through on a Twitch. There's a trade for Adrian, though. 4v4 in this game.
And can they get out? Cloud9 have them pinned between the turrets here.
Some days
Chad,
fly
no more duels.
Yeah, he's gonna get hooked in, and Jensen getting his 4th kill of the game.
They all dove and finished off Sneaky, and then the question was, well, what now? We're in
They're
deep
stuck
enemy
underwater.
territory. There's still another carry.
I mean, that's classic Nocturne, right? You're
Yeah.
in. All right, I got him. What now? Well, gonna have to run away through 2 turrets. Cloud9 do, take some vision advantage around Baron, but it's not gonna be a tremendous amount. There was that one blue one you see up on the ramp.
Round 2.
Yeah, they could be doing Baron. There's the chain of CC.
And the first damage is there. He is simply not tanky enough yet. No magic resist, and he falls down. Ooh, look at this damage to the ult tech, though. And in fact, at half, but that is now 3-1, the kill chain.
Yeah, and this is a play that C9 can keep running. The vision control around Baron with the lead, Elise, and Blitzcrank. Every time you have a numbers advantage, even if Team Dignitas check, they don't have the clean team fight. And Dig is just trying to play this game, hoping C9 does it wrong.
Oh, they're gonna land another one. This could be Adrian falling again, but be careful. The rest of the team's coming across the flash knockup. Looking for Keen, not gonna find it. They are gonna get Adrian, though. 1 for 0. And Cloud9 again able to disengage.
Another kill here, though, as Cloud9 are able to continually pick off some extra gold from Team Dignitas after that fight. The kill on the Sneaky kind of was very, very lackluster. Yeah, they do get him. They do get both summoners, but then there are like 3 more trickling in kills for Cloud9 afterwards.
Yeah, the flash flay by Adrian did want to start it off well, but they just don't have the burst damage to make plays like that right now. They've gone full tank on the jungle and just the Black Cleaver and a Bramble Vest on the Jarvan, so by no means do they have the burst necessary to have those plays work.
Smart flash boomerang by Impact there, by the way. Broke the spell shit so the hook could even land. Otherwise, I think Shrimp actually would have lived because it was the only engaged tool left. The only CC left in the squad, but of course the kill did come through. Cloud9 will see what's up next. 1.5 minutes still towards that next Drake. The Ocean lets him stay on the map quite a bit longer. You can see control wards in all 5 inventories. We got the gold to spend for it. Certainly this is the right choice. We'll see if they can take and maintain control over the Baron area. I'll take almost at a second item now. That is close to being done. Not quite the combined cost. Sneaky does have his Hurricane completed though, so can definitely shoot out a front line successfully.
Yeah, Impact going Mega Gnar right there. We have seen Team Dignitas play very well around the Gnar transformations this series.
Yep, and now he's mini. This is one of those small windows that Team Dignitas could choose to use if they wanted to fight. But the vision deficit makes it hard. Dark Spear is still being spawned by Keen. Trapped to the left-hand side. They're trying to zone out the squad, but there's still a room in there. And that could have been a danger. Jet's going to be fine, though. Doesn't get hit by the hook. Now looking for the next play is Smoothie. And he's going to find the hook on a 1. The flag is up, but the kill is going to go in. Someday going to fall. Re-engage coming across. Look at the chase in by Jensen, just pushing in and getting the kills. Altec, 2 for 0.
What you gonna do? You get hooked, you don't have the ability to team fight, and then Jensen just walks up to Altec and kills him. Altec doesn't want to burn Flash because he wasn't close enough to the team. Jensen would have just Flash followed.
That was a long-range hook there from Smoothie as well. Even though they didn't win the last one with Blitzcrank, he was very accurate with the hooks. He gets a pull, they have some chase down kills, and that is a Baron buff for Cloud9 and another pick!
And Adrian just says, guys, they're doing Baron, I promise.
Cloud9 striking back in this series. Smoothie walks that side here, grabs the first kill, but then Altec also walks up and away from the lantern.
He has
the flag from Jarvan was on it as well, but that is about it, and that's
screw you up.
Even on your team. And
yeah, I think that shouldn't screw you up, but
well, unless you're like, oh, that's just a flag, and it doesn't.
I don't know.
No longer
no
recognize it. It's the disguise.
It's just a flag. I can't click on a flag. Only Jarvan could do that, but it's the way it came. And so Cloud9 finally showing a good mid game in this series, though. Dignitas has been the Baron has been the Dignitas objective this entire series. C9 kept the vision control. This time they used their early game lead well, and now the siege can continue.
And the playmaking of the Elise and Blitzcrank has been huge, whether it's Cocoon to hook or the other way round. It is preventing Dig from ever getting the clean team fight that they want, and now they're kind of at this point where they got 2 really strong carries to follow up on the initiation.
Cloud9 were in the finals last split. They expect to kind of be there, and they're having to fight their way out of a 2-0 deficit here very early on. Making a strong showing here in game number 3 to try and continue the series, though.
Yep. Yeah, we talk so much in this last year of LCS about parity, because we've seen the top teams have bad early games. Or last split, we're thinking someone would knock off TSM or C9 and we wouldn't see another TSM C9 finals. When playoffs happened, C9 pretty much 3-0'd their way to the finals, and as did TSM, and it almost seemed like they had plot armor to the parity conversation we had been having. And the experience does matter in a very big way, especially when you're in these playoff situations. And we can see Team Dignitas came to play today with this 2-0 lead, but C9 bouncing back strongly in this third game, switching up their strategies, going for more early playmaking, not being dissuaded with the failures of the first 2 games, and being willing to pull the trigger. Has them in position to push this to a 4th game.
Jensen's been pulling the trigger. 6-0-4 on the mid lane Lucian, by the way. That's the AD carry that you need to watch out for.
The next one is Keen getting shot at, but snooted maybe, but he's going to be okay. Knocks back Jensen, gets away with it. Did lose his heal, though. Keen down to Summoner. And Cloud9 siege can continue. A minute 40 still on the most lengthy of Baron buffs. Sneaky getting some free time to shoot the turret down, and yet there is no defense to be had. Turret's going to fall in the mid lane. Cloud9 looking to make this one happen. Not yet 30 minutes in, looking to break the inhibitor wall. Mid lane still under fire. Keen keeps summoning Dark Spheres, barely dodges Cocoon. And it's going to be Impact going and finds the stun on the one. They're going to knock him down. The flash engage was there. No mid laner to be had, and C9 not going to wait for more. They're going to close the game out, or hope to right now. Looking for the next Cocoon, not quite going to hit Shrimp, but maybe the engage to be had on the contracts. 5v4 Hook going to go a bit wide for both these supports here. And now Cloud9 go back down to the bot side. They've got a second turret to kill, second inhibitor to follow. Still 30 seconds on a Keen.
And still Baron, so even if they don't end, they're still getting a lot of objectives down right now. 2 inhibitors down before the 30-minute mark. They want more.
20 seconds. 5v4. Nocturnal pop. Nearsighted is here. They're going to wait in the front line. First turret's going to fall, and nothing popped by Shrimp. He tried to scare them, but they weren't afraid. 10 seconds now on the Keen. Will they wait for this, or will they wait to fight on the turret? It's going to fall in a few more seconds here, and it's going to be a 5v5 in 3 more seconds. The duck comes across for a Sneaky, staying alive. They don't get onto the back line. A quick fear back, but the hook is in, and they found Altec, and Dignitas unable to fight with carries. Altec falls right as Keen respawns. The Unleashed Power is not the kill as well, and Cloud9 gonna answer back. They're gonna kill the Nexus. They're gonna get the first game of the series. Backs against the wall. They've got to do it 2 more times.
There was a reverse sweep earlier this morning that most people watched as well. Cloud9, first step in theirs here.
Yeah, and when looking at this series now, with 3 games in the books, games 1 and 2 were very close. There was moments in the game where you could see those going either way. This one was pretty much C9's from the moment Contracts killed Shrimp in Shrimp's jungle. Yep. They never relented the control, consistently made plays, and won this game 30 minutes, 15 kills to 3.
And it's fitting with the mid Lucian pick, went 6-0-6. Relentless Pursuit is the name of the game here in this one. He did well for himself. Contracts, yes, that first blood was great. He started preying on the jungle, but they were able to get themselves in the bot lane fights. The TP cancel from Someday into just joining back in there with Impact showing up for like a 3-for-1 down there, and it just kept stacking up. You got kills from brushes, cocoons, and hooks landing left and right.
The real loser here are Nocturne enthusiasts.
Yep.
Nocturne finally makes a triumphant debut in.
If you're playing Cinderhawk Knight's Vow,
gets first blood in
not
like
carrier for that. I mean,
yeah, that's
we
too bad.
also got to keep in mind, right? How is this going to play on Team Dignitas' mindset?
Yeah.
They have beaten C9 in games, but not
never in
matches. The clincher has been the problem. They are now 0-5 in match winnable, like match deciding games
point
against Cloud9.
They're 0-5 in match point so far this split. We'll see if it continues. Right now, we're going to hear more about Cloud9 picking up that win with Dash and our analysts.
Thank you very much. Free Cloud9 with a dominant Game 3. Extend us to at least a 4th game here in this best-of-5 against Dignitas. But gentlemen, questions around champion select for both teams, really. I know that at first glance we saw what was coming through for C9, and there were a few faces. But then, of course, the Nocturne, of all things, to come in as the final pick for Dignitas kind of just flipped it all back in the other direction.
Right. I mean, C9 takes the Elise early on. I see what they're thinking. They're like, all right, we got to get more aggressive playmaking. You heard the caster saying the same thing. And then the Lucian pick comes in, and when you have Elise Lucian, that's basically telegraphing that our late game team fighting is going to be abysmal. We will have almost no front line. Even if you grab it from the top and bottom, you can kind of make up a little bit for it, but still not enough to go up against another team comp with a tank jungler. So already C9's putting themselves firmly in the we need to win early game bucket.
Yeah, and the thing for C9 though is throughout all of these drafts, all 3 games, they've actually had a winning top, winning jungle, and in this game they combined it with a winning mid lane matchup here, so they're able to control the whole top half of the map, and then they had the insurance policy on the bottom side of having the Twitch. So when you're picking something like the Twitch, having a bridge champion like the Elise for the jungle is really good instead of picking hyperscalers like they did in the first game, in my opinion.
And what's great is when you lose your whole top side of the map is to take a Nocturne.
Yeah, I was about to ask you to justify the Nocturne. I realize that's a difficult ask, but where could this pick have come from?
So there's very little peel on the side of C9. There's almost no one to stop you if you do ult, and then they're all very squishy. So if you get off the ground and you're a little bit ahead, you might have a field day here, and that I can kind of see where it's coming from,
But that's where we return to your point about having losing lanes. How are you supposed to get off the ground when Elise can freely invade your jungle?
Especially because it's not just like, oh, we have losing lanes and I'm going to get invaded, but you're going to do it against the most aggressive jungler currently in the meta in Elise. So it was just a really strange time to pick the Nocturne.
Yeah, something I actually like that what Cloud9 did as their last pick was the Blitzcrank, because you could actually panic and say, okay, we need to pick Janna here and have disengage for the dive and keep Sneaky safe. But instead they say, we're not going to try to counter what they're doing. We're going to play our own game plan and have something that can stop sieges and accelerate the pace of the game for picks, because you're not really looking at people who are going to dive, you're looking at people who are going to control lanes, and then the Blitzcrank can show up and guarantee picks and kills.
Right, index more heavily towards that early game. It showed the game ended in just 30 minutes and 26 seconds, so faster than both of Dignitas' wins so far in this series, although relatively quick games overall across the 3. I do want to take a look at one replay. It's the only one we have. 10 minutes into the game, Dignitas looking for a force here in the bot lane, but it's going to get turned by C9.
I mean, here you see the Nocturne go in, you flash out the ultimate, he's now useless in any form of a skirmish, the teleport comes in, gets canceled out. What's strange here is Someday kind of makes his way back into the top side, and it looks like he might be able to get in range to EQ this. I'm not sure if it's on cooldown or what. Either way, he cancels his teleport, which just tells C9, keep running, force this dive as hard as you possibly want. There's no one coming in to really clean this up.
Yeah, and when I looked at that over again, it's kind of, he's losing that top lane matchup versus Gnar, so if they have the Gnar TP in, and his bottom lane completely disengages and nothing happens here, he gets turret pressure top, the matchup that he's losing ends up getting equalized because the Gnar is no longer getting CS and stuff like that. But the fact that they get so much off of that is just completely defining of that bottom half of the map, and so you kind of trickled your lead over, and Someday was kind of banking on the fact that he could kind of neutral top.
Yeah, and it's just such a tall ask of a team comp like Dignitas put together for themselves. You see Jensen, huge damage numbers, did a good job taking over that game, as well as Smoothie finding a lot of picks when combined with Jensen. Just that range, skill shot CC that's going to find one person out of a team comp.
Right, so we had some reservations around C9's composition and that they were indexing so heavily towards that early game and sacrificing kind of any notion of a late game team fight, but they played into their composition quite masterfully. I mean, this was a very dominant game and the quickest of the 3 we've seen so far. So that's definitely going to be a boost to the morale of the C9 squad. But let's remember, they still have to put together 2 more wins here in order to complete the reverse sweep and move on to the semifinals.
Right, this is a game where after you see that Gnar pick and you are deciding what to do with the Jarvan, you can easily go for more of like a double tank focus, and then you just stack a ton of armor, and it makes it very difficult for C9 to win late game, and then you just try and weather that early game storm. Instead, the Nocturne plays completely into C9's game plan. So I think Dignitas has a couple easy adjustments that they can make moving forward if C9 wants to stick with this game plan. But the scary thing is just the mentality of C9 finally getting a win, finding some footing, feeling really good when they do it, and smashing so convincingly.
Yeah, the thing that kind of doesn't sit too well with me in this series is that Dignitas, like I've said, I feel like they've kind of lost the top half of the draft in the last 3 games. It's been consistent, and being results-based, you're like, oh, the draft doesn't matter because they've won the first 2 games, but it's something that I think is a bit of a problem, and if C9 are going to continually push through top and impact, then that could be something that opens up the series for them.
So Dig has selected red side yet again, so our team's definitely preferring to be on the counter-picking side when it comes to champion select. With that in mind, let's continue this discussion, though, around the top side of the map for Dignitas, so mid, jungle, and top side. Where do you make the change to get a more dominant top side of the map? Which lane do you look at?
I think it's the kind of thing where you just have to find a way, now that you're on red side, to get counter pick for you, just because I like C9's game plan of basically giving Impact an autonomous champion. He will be in a favorable position at all points unless Dignitas specifically attack it, and then you try and do other things. I do like that idea, but it can be outdone where if you just are willing to take certain matchups at certain times. So if you ban the Gnar out and you end up in a tank matchup, Someday can obviously play a lot of really good champions into different tanks. So you might look at something like that, but it is one of those things like you're saying where they did lose the top half of the map, but they're getting great team fighters while doing it, and they usually end up in a mid game that's relatively even.
Yeah, but we know Impact for like his tank play, right? And they're consciously not putting him on tanks. They're putting him on things that can win the lane and win the matchup. So C9 are very much so saying we need to win the top side of the map here and try to lock down Someday and keep him occupied, right? And that's kind of their plan here. It didn't work in the first 2 games to keep him off of things like Maokai. And when the bans came out where Maokai and the tanks were something here, and they still got Impact a matchup where he was favored, I think that that's something that, you know, they can kind of repeat here with Dignitas being on red side because they seem to favor that tank matchup.
I've got to assume that the Nocturne doesn't find its way back to the champion select here. I mean, I respect the, you know, the attempt at it. You know, let's see if it works. Let's maybe throw a wrench into some people's plans, especially looking ahead into playoffs. If they were to come away with a victory there to close out the series, people are going to have to start looking at picks bans against Dignitas in a very different way. But especially in the face of things like the Nunu still being up in that case, right? You could reach towards the Kayn or the Sejuani, or I mean, the Lee Sin even at times. There were lots of other options on the table, and the Nocturne, to me, I just don't see how it floated its way to the top.
It's absolutely one of those champions where you look at that draft, okay, we flex the J4 top, we put the Nunu in the jungle, we play a really control game early on, survive Elisa's early pressure, and then boom,
right,
mid-late game.
That's a good point. They played J4 in game 1. They could have just flexed it. They could have thrown it in the jungle and taken a different top laner there in that matchup. We were throwing Yasuo around.
Yeah, it was like something
Yasuo would have been great into that comp.
That would be amazing. He counters the Gnar, the Lucian, and the Twitch. It would have been incredible.
Elise isn't that great into it?
Yeah.
It's all right. We got another game. Perhaps we'll get it. Cloud9 were able to pick up their first win of the series. Stay tuned after the break to see if they can set up the reverse sweep versus Team Dignitas. Game 4 is up next. Don't touch that browser.